Time attack, bro. Time attack, bro. Bro, you up for a time attack? Where's my stopwatch? You got a stopwatch? Touring cars, bro. Roll cage, mate.
$12,000 engine rebuild, son! Marco seats, bro! Bro, in my past life, I've been a touring car champion. Yo, bro, I could be a touring car champion. I should have been a touring car champion. Drifting! Yo, bro, tomorrow's a snow day! Steering rack, bro! Tighter steering rack, bro! My steering rack is so tight!
E30, how can I explain it? I'll take it frame by frame it. Tab y'all wrenching while we riffing it. E is for Euro, 3 is for hands you wish you had. The last 0... well, that's not that simple. It's sort of like another way to call your investment, because E30s need a smart assessment. There's a lot going on behind the naming. As a car, it seems we gotta start explaining.
The BMW E30 is a boxy range of cars made from the mid-80s to the mid-90s. The BMW E30 is hated, mocked, reviled as an emotionless box to hold invoices and printouts from internet arguments. Should anything go south at a car meet, you will have damning evidence against your enemies for the inevitable civil lawsuit. And this is the most E30est of all the E30s because it is not an M3. Like, it kinda is because the engine is a sorta M engine from 4-cylinder M's. This E30 here is also more E30E because it is 4 doors and not 2, and that's important. You see, your brain's dick thinks that 2-door cars are faster because structural rigidity or whatever. So when a 4-door BMW passes you in your S13, you're pissed because there is no M badge on the back of that car on which you can lay your excuses. Because this E30 is the best at E30ing. Its engine is the M42 1.8 liter with a timing chain. Double cams and 4 valves per pot. Yeah, there was the BMW S14 engine, no relationship to Nissan, but that was just a gimped M88. The M42 makes about 138 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, but that's the stock horsepower. There's plenty of ways to make an E30 go faster, and that's why they are so popular. So popular, this is the most requested car we've got to review ever since the Miata. E30s and Miatas are always going back and forth, and E30s have more to prove because they're heavier and larger cars than Miatas. They're fun to go fast in because they don't look fast at all. The only difference is Miatas can be fixed with swear words, but E30s you need a manual. You have to take working on these things seriously, and that's the difference. People want to tell you these are not complicated cars, and that's BS. These are very complicated engines because the tolerances are so small. The E30 is a car that is punching above its weight class, like a boxer who's never been told he can't be world champion. It's very admirable. It's a Kenny Powers quote on wheels. And these are also popular cars because of their rear-wheel drive. It's an inexpensive car with a lot of potential, and it's rear-wheel drive for lots of fun. And it's more useful as a daily driver than a Miata could be. And just like the Miata, that's the beauty of it. If you're into cars and you want something fun to drive, but you can only have one car, and you've got to do other car things, and you've got to haul more than one other person, well, sorry Miata, I can't have you. E30 to the rescue. But it's up to you to know how to handle an E30. To take it easy, but not too easy. To push it, but not be too hard. It's sort of like figuring out where the line is with a substitute teacher. What jokes are gonna fly? Can I call him by his first name? This guy isn't gonna be here tomorrow, but what if he is? The ride is smooth, but buzzy, like a jailbroken, vibrating ass tickler. The E30 in its time was supposed to go 124 miles an hour, but when you look at it and you see all these boxy lines in this grille that's just flat in the front, you kind of wonder, what is this car gonna be like above 100 miles an hour? What's the aero gonna be? And people want to tell you, oh, this is in fact a very aerodynamic shape. The squares. The notion of an E30 going that fast seems about as likely as finding a video of your own conception at the adult video outlet off exit 27. Of course, this isn't a bad experience by any means, it just isn't what's expected. It's sort of like getting to second base for the first time, only to discover your girlfriend has pepperoni nipples. And sure, let's keep going, but I'm not going to be storing this in the spank bank. BMWs inspire a strange kind of provincialism, and it feels random and often misdirected. Being into E30s is like being fiercely passionate about your time zone. My time zone is the best time zone. Mountain time or bust! I don't really blame anybody for being loyal to their brand, especially if the brand got them young. Some people are BMW lifers, and that's okay. But I'm not so sure BMWs are ever going to speak to me at a primordial level. It's wash day again. No, I'm going to get an extra day out of these underwear if it kills me. Tidy whities, everything's in check. But you need to drive an E30. If you want to pass yourself off as a car enthusiast, an E30 is more of a prerequisite than English Comp 1. The acceleration has 0 dead spots. It doesn't climb onto the cam. And when you hear people who are into cars refer to something as climbing onto the cam, it means with most double overhead cam engines, there's a point where the cams start to speed up. Now, I know that's sort of a misnomer, but I'm speaking from a kind of imaginative standpoint. Imagine you're watching that tack go up. There's a point where it'll jump. Hondas are notorious for this, and that's why people like Hondas so much. But E30s don't do that. In fact, most BMWs don't do that. There is no tipping point in the rev range. When you hear a car journalist refer to something called a linear power band, this is what they're talking about. Say you want to go fast, so you give it 3/4 throttle, and you're revving from 2,000 RPM to 6,000 RPM. With most naturally aspirated double cam engines with 4 valves, somewhere between 4,000 RPM and 5,000 RPM, the revs will start climbing faster even though your foot hasn't moved. That's climbing onto the cam. But a BMW E30, that tachometer will move at a steady pace all the way up and down. So if you're going autocrossing or if you're at a track day, bro, you can make fine adjustments to your speed while at high RPM without a sudden burst of power getting to the rear wheels and breaking you loose and making you spin.
Can I give it just a little bit?
Yeah.
Ooh! Yeah. That's why people like E30s.
A BMW E30 is classically perfect. It's the best introduction to any sort of enthusiast driving experience. Okay, so you're 20 and you've been driving your hand-me-down Oldsmobile Alero, but you want to get into cars. What should you pick? And you have no idea what you want to do, but you know you want to do it in the correct way. You get an E30. An E30 is to cars what Magic the Gathering is to card-based fantasy games. What a Ruger 1022 is to marksmanship. What a Ninja 250 is to motorcycling. What Audio-Technica is to sound recording. What AMD is to building your first computer. What Yingling Porter is to being introduced to craft beer. What Peace Rock in Hamburg is to doing stupid stuff. What a Yamaha Blaster is to broken collarbones. Driving the E30 now in 2014 is sort of like finally banging the prom queen, except she's 41, 4 kids deep, twice divorced, and out of options. But you're taking the plunge anyway, so you can just say you did.
I be flirty, my knees dirty from assuming the position for the E30. I'm still wordy with the things I say, same way I ain't choosy about the girls I lay. Well, assuming that I'm getting laid at all. Hell, it's tough hitting up the same old halls. What was I talking about? BM dub. Gotta take a dump cause I got that BM love. But when I get back, can we see about that date? Can we see about trading in your RX-8? Cause you're like my appendix girl, I have no doubt that while I don't know what you do, I wanna take you out. So check my BMW, we'll grab a stout. If you're a lesbian, we'll still be friends, so let's be out. And I've been wired from the